Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Ba'ishim, Baraka Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ishim, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to Akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video, and I'll be reading from an article on WashingtonPost.com titled, "Could the Strike on an Iranian General Trigger a Draft?" The Selective Service explained. And with that strike that killed General Qasem Soleimani last week, and these Iranian retaliatory strikes earlier this week, it's got a lot of you Americans shook because you're afraid that a World War III will happen and that you're going to get drafted into it. And both of those will occur. It's all a part of biblical prophecy. This is Luke 6:25. Woe or destruction unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. As it says in 2 Esdras 16, because victuals shall be so good cheap in that day, they shall think themselves in good case. Just because you can still go to the stores and get food and watch Netflix, and gas prices are still relatively cheap, everything's going to go on like that forever. Well, you're sadly mistaken. There's about to be a change in the world very shortly. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Woe to you that laugh at mainly the prophets of the Most High, who are out there on the highways and byways diligently pushing this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this to warn you people, mainly you Israelites or you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, of what's to come and what you need to do to be safe from these coming calamities of Jacob's trouble. But the majority of you just stay and laugh and mock at the truth. Well, the Most High's got something for you, getting drafted into this upcoming third woe. This is Revelation 11, verse 14. The second woe or destruction is past, World War II, and behold, the third woe, World War III, which is going to go nuclear, cometh quickly, and it is coming quickly. That strike that killed that general, that those retaliatory Iranian strikes are just little pieces playing into the bigger puzzle, which will eventually lead to all-out nuclear World War III. So to you sincere Akim out there, just hold fast and keep strong and do whatever you need to get into the good graces of Yahweh Ba'ishim Yahushai so you can be safe from these coming calamities of Jacob's trouble. Let's get into this article. In the hours since the Trump administration announced that the high-ranking Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani had been killed in a U.S. airstrike, Americans wondered, does this mean war? Behold, the second woe is past, and the third woe cometh quickly. And for young people, there is a follow-up, would I have to go? And yes, you will. The impact of President Trump's decision to order a strike against Soleimani has yet to be seen, and it has turned up the heat on America's already tense relationship with Iran, a country the president has portrayed as one of America's most dangerous adversaries. Google searches for terms such as conscription, selective service, and Iran spiked, according to Trends data, as youthful social media users on platforms like TikTok and Instagram dealt with this collective political anxiety the best way they knew how, by spinning out endless memes about getting drafted in a hypothetical but seemingly imminent World War III. On Friday, the website for the Selective Service, a federal agency tasked with maintaining a database of adult men who could be called upon should a crisis require a draft, experienced technical difficulties as people flooded the site. Selective Service on Twitter. Due to the spread of misinformation, our website is experiencing high traffic volumes at this time. If you are attempting to register or verify registration, please check back later today as we are working to resolve this issue. We appreciate your patience, and you people have every right to be concerned about getting drafted, because again, you will be drafted. This is 2 Esdras 16, verse 33 to 34. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars, the third woe, World War III, Also, the battle in the valley of Jehoshaphat, or that war of Armageddon, shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, because they were drafted to go fight in it, and their husbands shall perish of the famine. And those men that happen to still be over in America while all these calamities are going on over in the Middle East are not going to have it any much easier. They're going to die of famines, pestilences, race wars, civil wars, and a state of martial law. And then ultimately those 200 million nuclear missiles hitting the United States of America, turning it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea. This is Joel 2 verse 20. But I will remove far off from you the Northern Army, the United States military, all branches, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the National Guard, etc., and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, the Middle East, more specifically Saudi Arabia, which is going to be the main staging ground for this upcoming war with Iran, with his face toward the East Sea. And to the east of Saudi Arabia is the Persian Gulf, and above the Persian Gulf is Iran. And to the northeast you have the Tigris and Euphrates River, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, behind him, which is the Red Sea. And all throughout 2019, you've had a U.S. military personnel getting moved to Saudi Arabia, and then just recently, 3,500 U.S. troops have been moved to Iraq and Kuwait and other neighboring areas. And then you had the 82nd Airborne get reactivated and sent over to the Middle East, which I believe was a part of that 3,500 troops that were sent there. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things. If you're a U.S. soldier that finds himself or herself over in the Middle East during this upcoming battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, you better come to terms with that being your final resting place. And it's not only men that are going to be drafted to go fight in this war, women will be drafted as well. And you can already see how the powers that be are playing up the idea of female soldiers. You women thought feminism would bring you equality and equal rights. Well, you're going to have equal rights to get drafted and go fight in that war. This is an article from people.com titled, "First Female Soldiers Graduate Elite Army Ranger School. I thought we were going to be dropped." The women received the coveted Ranger Tab uniform patch, signaling their membership in the elite corps of soldiers. The first women to graduate from the Army's rigorous Ranger School on Friday received the coveted Ranger Tab uniform patch, signaling their membership in the elite corps of soldiers. And here's another article from theguardian.com. West Point set to see record number of so-called black women graduate. Class of 2019 will include 34 female African-American graduates, the largest in the military academy's history, and 19 Hispanic women, the Southern Kingdom and the Northern Kingdom. And this is all just comical right here. You women honestly believe you're going to do anything of importance when you get drafted to go fight in that third woe. But even then, once that call comes up, a lot of y'all are going to not want to go and try to go back to being women and go and cook and clean for a man. But it's too late. And once you women are over there in a foxhole while the missiles and gunfire are going off, you're going to be nothing more than a comfort woman to your own soldiers and to the enemy soldiers. And look up that term, comfort women. This is Isaiah chapter 34. I'm going to start at verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken, ye people, all the nations of the earth. The 2/3 of the Israelites that are going to get caught up in this third woe, as well as you heathen nations who are going to get dragged down into the Middle East for that battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all the things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations. You Edomites, or so-called Caucasians, you Moabites, or so-called Chinese, you Ishmaelites, or so-called Arabs, you Ammonites, or so-called Japanese, you Hamites, or so-called Africans, you Elamites, or so-called East Indians, etc., and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. he had delivered them to the slaughter. In the valley of decision, the valley of Yahweh's judgment, Jehoshaphat. This is Joel chapter 3. I'm going to read verse 11 through 12. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, all ye nations and your armies, which the Most High has an indignation towards, because you touched the apple of his eye, the true children of Israel, again, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, in the past with slavery, all the way up until today, chiefly by you Edomites, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh, and those mighty ones are the death angels of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, holding back this destruction, waiting to get the go-ahead to release all this destruction, which is going to mainly come once the hour of temptation comes about, which is the mandatory implementation of the mark of the beast, which is the RFID/NFC microchip implant. Once that happens, all bets are off the table. Shortly thereafter, Yahushua is going to return to save the elect of his people and his people only, and these nuclear missiles are going to fly to the ends of the earth. Again, mainly to the United States of America, which is biblically known as Babylon the Great. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means Yahweh's Shabbat or Yahweh's judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, and also judge 2/3 of you Israelites who are hard-headed and refuse to come back to your power, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Woe to you that laugh now, for ye shall weep later. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Mass death, slaughter, and destruction. Back in Joel chapter 2, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig tree. And the host of heaven being dissolved and the heavens rolled together like a scroll is referring to a nuclear missile being detonated. And it being rolled together like a scroll is symbolizing that mushroom cloud, because when it goes up into the sky, it rolls into itself. The Middle East is going to be hit with nuclear missiles, as well as that concentrated heat, or so-called laser beams, from the fathership chariot that Yahushua is going to be returning in. Just go and read 2nd Esdras chapter 13, start around the 6th verse, which talks about how Yahushua is going to return to put that work to you soldiers down in the valley of Jehoshaphat. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which is the Greek way for saying Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh hath a sacrifice in Basra, again talking about you Edomites, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, as it says in Isaiah chapter 63. Who is this with dyed garments of Basra? Yahushai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is returning to, again, not only save his people, but to mainly come after you Edomites for touching the apple of his eye and abusing his people in the past all the way up until today. When you go to Psalms chapter 83, which has the table of heathen nations that were confederate and went against the nation of Israel, you Edomites are at the top of the list. Now I'm going to close it out in Habakkuk chapter 2. I'm going to read verse 1 through 3. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. The prophets of the Most High, the men of the Lord, chiefly through GMS, or Great Millstone, going out there on the highways and byways pushing this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, watching the news and filtering it through the scriptures so we can tell you people of what's to come. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Write the vision. Again, going out there on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. And we're living in the last seconds of these last days, the last rulership of the heathens, chiefly Esau, Edom, before the kingdom of heaven comes in, and the Israelites are going to rule this planet for eternity. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And if you have that spiritual eyesight, you can clearly see that these major end times prophecies are not tarrying. Any day now, all hell could break loose. And with that being the case, again, to you sincere Akim, you should be doing whatever you can to get back into the good graces of your power, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, so you can have that protective hedge over you when all this hell does break loose. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. And as always, I'm going to say Abba Ball, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.